Hi friends, Nargis here from Mums the Word PK. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing with you a flip through of my 2022 bullet journal so far. So that's my yearly pages and my January setup. Before we get into it, if you enjoy lifestyle content with a focus on productivity, journaling, and wellness, then please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss a video. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. First off, let's chat about the journal I'm using this year. I've been journaling now for a few years and I've used several different types of journals. By far, my favorite is a dotted journal because it allows you the freedom to create while also offering guidance with a dot grid. I'm based in Pakistan, and while we have some great local options for bullet journals here, I have yet to find one beyond 120 GSM paper. So after months of seeing notebook therapy ads on Instagram, I decided to bite the bullet and ask my niece to order me the Tasuki Moonflower limited edition bullet journal by them. It's the A5 size and has 176 pages, as well as some other really great features. It has an elastic band closure, which fits really nicely, 2 bookmarks, which are always incredibly handy. And on the spine, it has moonflower design, which is a beautiful aesthetic. On the back of the book, it has the name Notebook Therapy. And the best thing about this journal is the gold foil pages with the flowers. It gives such a luxurious feeling and makes me feel so fancy whenever I sit down to write. Inside the book, in the back cover, there is a pocket to carry any essentials, and on the bottom are the words, "Only at night do my ideas bloom like the moonflower." And I think that's a really, really lovely quote. Anyway, now that we've spoken about the journal a little bit, let's get into the setup itself. Opening it right on up, I was inspired by Elizabeth at the Plant-Based Bride setup from last year. She's a phenomenal content creator and you should definitely check out her videos. So I decided to start my decoration right from the inside cover. I went with a green leaf theme with some craft paper to finish off. This year I've named my journal Hope because that's what I want it to bring me. I've written the name out in a serif font on a dark green piece of craft paper and stuck it in over the side. Right next to it is a key, which is an essential part of the bullet journal system. I know my symbols by heart by now, but I find it's a great tool to include anyway. On this piece of white paper, I have my grid spacing cheat sheet created in a fold-out manner just like Elizabeth created in hers. I've counted out the dots going down in full, in halves, and in quarters, and the same for across, and just jotted it down. I found this to be a very useful tool because otherwise I would be flipping back and forth while trying to create my spreads, and that was actually quite annoying. I finished off the spread with the same craft paper circles that I'm using throughout and the leafy green branch design. Simple but aesthetically pleasing, and for someone like me who isn't wildly artistic, it's been a really great way to create my setup. For my name page, I just added my name in a really basic cursive and I finished it off with craft paper. I ordered these Vellum decoration papers from a website called the Bling Spot Studio in Pakistan. They offer great crafting and journaling supplies, and I just thought that this piece looked really nice with the theme, so I added it in. Moving on now to my index page. I went ahead and I stuck together the first 2 pages because that first page never lies flat and can be really irritating. So the index is a really crucial part of the bullet journal system because that's where you record all your collections. It's very basic. I have a space for my page number, and then I have a space for my subject or my collection, whatever topic I'm writing about or I've added into my journal. And I can just note it down so that whenever I want to flip through and back, I have some sort of reference available to me. I finished off with just the same leafy branches and the same craft paper additions for decoration. Heading on over to my 2022 title page, which I'm actually incredibly proud of. So I found this idea online. I'm not really sure who to credit it to though. I went ahead and I used some vellum paper and I wrote out 22 on it in faux calligraphy. So basically where you double up on the downstroke so it looks like you know how to do calligraphy. And underneath on the page itself, I went ahead and I wrote 20 in serif font and I colored it in. And this didn't ghost, guys, so that's amazing. Finished it off with some craft paper and some branches, and so you layer it over and it reads 2022. I taped it in with some clear tape. I had to use 2 pieces of tape because around day 10 of January it was tearing out. But I really like how this came out. My quote page for this year is again inspired by the plant-based bride, and it's part of the theme that she used last year. I have a craft paper piece stuck in here, and that has the quote by T.S. Eliot. It reads, "For last year's words belong to last year's language, and next year's words await another voice." I think that's incredibly beautiful. Down at the bottom it says page 1 of 365, and I feel like that is such a hopeful thing to look back on because it just reminds you of how much awaits you, and you don't have to necessarily focus on what you've left behind, but instead look at what lies ahead. All right, next up is the future log. This is one of those spreads here that I am most proud of. First of all, let's talk about how I've marked this page. So this paper clip is the cutest little thing, and it actually came with the notebook. It was in the back pocket, and it's a little gift that they send with all of their notebooks. I love it, and I've put it to good use by marking my future log, which is an absolutely essential part of my bullet journal setup. So this Dutch door inspired setup, which is a book within a book. It's a major inception, but this was created by Amanda Rach Lee last year in her bullet journal, and I wanted to recreate it this year. So with the bullet journal system, although I don't expect myself to use this journal for the entire year, I do add a future log to every journal I use, no matter when I started. Because I create monthly setups as the months arrive, I need a place to record future events, and that's where the future log comes in handy. There's definitely a lot of debate in the community about whether or not this serves a purpose, but for me it does, and I also like how it looks. I finished off these pages with the same leafy design, and in the end, I'm really happy with how it came together. Alrighty, let's talk about my word of the year. So down the side here, I have word of the year written in cursive so I don't forget what this page is about. And here's my word, create. So I'm not an incredibly artistic person. I think I've already mentioned that. I can write, but I can't necessarily paint, draw, color, etc. or what have you. But this year, I'm kind of changing my vibe and I'm taking can't out of the equation. And my focus is on can. I can create. I can unleash my creativity. I can do more. And I can try new things. So that's what this year is all about. It's all about letting that creativity flow when it comes to content creation, when it comes to my bullet journal. On to my vision board. So here I just picked up images from Pinterest that relate to what I want 2022 to be all about, and I put them all together and stuck it in. So you have workout, there's eating healthy, there's YouTube, creating a WordPress, just different things that allow me to focus. Okay, on to some pretty self-explanatory spreads. 2021 in review and 22 goals for 2022. Try to say that 5 times fast. So, like I said, these just sum themselves up. I thought over 2021, I thought about my highs, my lows, and how I felt about it, and I just wrote down my thoughts. For my 22 goals, I have different things that relate to self-growth, to health and wellness, to family time, and I just added them in. Like for number 15, I want to participate in NaNoWriMo, which is a writing event that takes place in November. And it's something that I've always thought about doing, but now since my word of the year is create, I have another pull for it. I also want to sleep train my daughter. She's 2 and we still are on the struggle, and in turn improve my sleep. So it's just different goals like that. Okay, let's talk about this content dump page. So this year I'm expanding my content beyond Instagram. I'm actually very active on there, so please do follow me so you can see my day-to-day activities. But I've created a space here for my blog, my YouTube, and my Instagram, and I just dump in any topic ideas that come to mind. Okay, here is my I'd like to page. I'd like to read, watch, listen to, and learn. So this is a great way to divide up a page. Just cut across it and create 4 sections with some simple decoration, and then I can just add in different things that I want to do along the way in the year as they come up. This way I don't forget anything that I've heard or someone's recommended. So I created my habits page in the exact same format. Habits I want to continue, habits I want to change, habits I want to improve, and habits I want to reduce. So I sat down and I had a thought about what habits worked for me, what habits no longer served me and needed a little bit of a transformation, what habits did work well but could have some improvement, and what habits had no place in my life at all. And I just wrote it all down, and this has been a great reflective page. Okay, let's talk about my reading log. So I was a huge reader back in high school, and I always say that my kids are the reason I don't read as much anymore, but honestly I think it was the introduction of the digital age. Tech age, screen time, and everything has taken away from reading time, and I really regret it. So reading has been a goal for quite some time, and 2022 is all about getting back on track, and this reading log is going to help me get there. I have a basic setup, the name of the book, the author, the date I started, the date I ended, and my thoughts. Okay, so here I have a movie log, a TV show log, and a podcast log created in the same sort of format. As you can see, we've already seen a movie, and I've been through 1 season, but I haven't read a book yet, so clearly what I'm saying about the digital age is true. So we watched Don't Look Up starring Leonardo DiCaprio, which was very bizarre, and I also saw the first season of Manifest. Weirdly enough, all the content these days is about the end of the world. Not very encouraging. Okay, so I love listening to podcasts. I listen to them constantly when I'm working out, when I'm on my walks, when I'm putting the kids to bed, or when I just kind of need a break and to catch my breath. And I wanted to create a space where I could just note down episodes that were really of value to me so that I have them as a resource to sort of look back on. Recipes to try and recipes that I have tried. I am a huge cook, an incredibly passionate cook. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I post a lot of recipes. I cook every day on my stories, and I've always wanted to have this sort of spread in my journals, and I've just not gotten around to creating it. So this year I did. A place where I can note down recipes that I come across and I want to try, and then the experience of how the recipe actually went. So I feel like these logs will be incredibly useful. Okay, year of workout and year of pixels, which is essentially a mood tracker. So these setups you have probably seen on Pinterest if you have been Googling bullet journal setups. This is a very common sort of setup, and it's quite useful. So I've created these setups only for the first 6 months because I intend to use more than one journal this year, and I'll just migrate the spreads over as and when I need to. So how these setups work is that over down the side you have the days of the month, and on the top you have the initial of the month. So I've given 2 boxes to each, and I just have a little key on the side. So I have strength, cardio, and yoga for my workout calendar, for my workout setup, and then for my mood tracker I have all these different mood setups. So basically this is meant to be a color-coded setup, but I've always found that I never have my pens with me and I would not be able to fill out the setup, and every year it would just get wasted. So this time I decided to just use symbols, so like lines, polka dots, zigzags, etc. And I always have my black pen handy, so I've been able to fill it out, and that's great because you want to create setups that actually serve you and have a functional purpose in your life rather than just stressing you out because you can't fill them out. Alrighty, let's talk about my cleaning schedule. So here I have just again created 4 sections, and I have written down my daily tasks, my weekly tasks, my monthly tasks, and my yearly cleaning tasks. So here in Pakistan we have a cleaning staff that comes in daily. So from here I can just pick out my tasks and add them to my weekly schedule depending on if I need to delegate, work with my staff, or just however I need to do it. Okay, here's monthly moments. This spread was also inspired by Reflect with Raksha, who is another phenomenal creator here on YouTube, and it's just a great resource to use at the end of the month where you can just jot down your thoughts on how the month went. Onwards to monthly themes. So I created this spread because, again, like I said, I want to unleash my creativity this year, so I wanted to have a place to plan out my bullet journal themes in advance. So it was at this point when creating my setup that I thought that I was done. But then later on, I realized I wanted to add in 2 more collections, and here is where the bullet journal index comes in handy. I added them in after I created my January setup, and I just put the pages into my index so that I don't lose track of them. So first off, I created a 12 healthy habits page. So for each month of the year, I've chosen one healthy habit. So like for example, January was to go out for a 2-kilometer walk every day. February is the elliptical, etc., etc., etc. And this spread is meant to motivate me and encourage me to stick to those healthy habits. So my last spread for these yearly pages is a period tracker. I use a digital period tracker on my phone. I use the Flow app, but I wanted to create an analog setup that could show me an absolutely full yearly overview from all the way January all the way to December. I just note down the day of my period, and that's about it. Okay, so moving on to January. I'm going to flip through this real quick for you so you can see how I've set it up. January's theme is a mountain theme, and I am so proud of this because I have unleashed my creativity, and I know I keep saying I'm proud of these pages, but darn it, I really am. My cover page just has January in block letters with a drop shadow, and I have 2022 down at the bottom with a mountain doodle in the back. I used Shada Campbell's tutorial on YouTube to guide me, and then the rest of the images I just Googled. My quote is, "I love beginnings. If I were in charge of calendars, every day would be January 1st. And that definitely seems appropriate. So my first spread usually for my monthly setups is my month at a glance, which is essentially a monthly calendar. This month, I'm not really happy with how my month at a glance has turned out because usually I keep a dated content calendar for all of my Instagram content, but somehow that didn't work out and I ended up just putting in Instagram, YouTube, and blog content along with my life. I have 3 kids into one calendar, so it's quite messy and disorganized and I'm a little frustrated. So definitely won't be doing that again. On the side, I have a goals section. We came back from vacation, so I wanted to settle in, reduce our screen time, and start YouTube and WordPress. Down here, I keep a section for my measurements, but I haven't filled it out yet, so time to get there. Okay, so this is the content plan section. On the left, I created a dump block, and on the right, I did sections for YouTube, the blog, and for Instagram. Like I said, I should have gone ahead and created this dated, left the dump section so I could just kind of jot down thoughts randomly and then dated out the content for the other 3 blocks. But you live and learn, right? So I'll definitely be doing that for the months going forward because it is much more sensible to create a separate calendar for content as opposed to the rest of your life. Okay, so this is my monthly thought spread. I include this spread in absolutely every single monthly setup, and I've been doing this now for 2 years. I learned this from Pickup Limes, and it's a great way to start the month. I do a check-in on how I'm feeling emotionally, physically, and spiritually, and I note it all down. Quick spending tracker right here, very basic. My date spent, the amount spent, and the item I spent it on, with some doodles to finish off. Okay, here let's talk about journal prompts. I journal regularly and I try to include journal prompts in every single one of my monthly setups. I've been doing it for about the last 6 months and I found it to be very, very therapeutic. I included 5 journal prompts this month about 2021 and 5 reflecting on 2022. And throughout the month, I've just been going through them. I am going to add a close-up of this to my Instagram page if you would like to journal along with me. So do follow me over there and check that out. Alrighty, let's talk about workout, yoga and workout. I am a huge fitness fan. I really enjoy movement and I love keeping that movement alive. This year, at the beginning of the year, I was incredibly ambitious and I started off 2 new programs at the beginning of the month. The Yoga with Adrienne Move program and the Heather Robertson 12-week challenge 2.0. So this is her second 12-week challenge. And we were still on vacation at the beginning of January. So as you can see, I'm definitely behind on my days, but you know what? That's okay. I'm going to see both of these programs through and I might carry on through to February. It'll mess up the journal aesthetic, but really who cares? Because I want to see it through. Okay, here's my 2 kilometers a day page, which as you can see has not been going very well. I've only managed 2 days this month, but I'm going to encourage myself and see how it goes. According to my Apple Watch, I get about 8 to 10 kilometers of movement a day, but this spread was meant to be about me putting on my trainers and actually getting out of the house to do a walk. So hopefully I'll do it. Okay, so right here, January has begun and I have just jumped right into journaling pages. So here is my health and fitness goals for 2022, just me journaling about it. And in all of my journaling pages, I've gone ahead and I've added in doodles of mountains, just so that it's all keeping in theme. And I have the same block letter headers. Sorry, can't speak anymore with the drop shadow. Okay, here's my first January weekly setup. So I basically start my weeks from Mondays. So I started my setup from the first Monday of the year, which was the 3rd of January. On the left-hand page, I use the Alistair method and I create a task list for running tasks that I can do at any point throughout the week. And on the right-hand side, I keep sections for days of the week where I can add in tasks that are day-specific. So that would be basically, for example, me dividing up my contact work, me dividing up my kitchen work, me dividing up my household cleanup, me dividing up the kids' studies and all of that stuff, especially now that they're studying virtually. And on top, I just did this mountain doodle to finish off, and I like how these pages are coming together. The next 2 spreads are a menu setup that I add again to every weekly setup. I create a menu page on the left page for the household and I keep a section on the bottom for the kids' school snacks. That first week they weren't going to school because we were in quarantine and so I didn't add anything. And I'm trying out creating a setup for myself so that I can pre-plan the things I'm gonna eat. I'm still not sure if I want to keep on adding this going forward. We'll see. Here's me just journaling some more on different prompts and different things. And this is January week 2. Again, identical setup. So left-hand side is the Alistair task list, right-hand side is the days of the week events, and then we have the 2 menu setups. This week the kids are doing virtual school, but I added in some school snacks just because they have them during their break, and pre-planning really helps me stay organized. Again, not 100% sure about the menu for me page, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe I might hone it in a little bit. And then just more journaling, more daily gratitude and stuff. I really love this doodle and I'm really happy with how my mountain doodles are getting better as the month progresses. Okay, that brings us to the end of it. It's a pretty long flip through, I know guys, but I really hope that you enjoyed it and I hope that you will like, follow, subscribe, and definitely come back for more. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.